to welcome to Personal Growth Leaders first meeting of the year, July 1st, 2023. And I would like to also welcome our new executive. I sent out a newsletter if you wanted to check and see the different positions. Our goal this year, our vision, is to become a distinguished club again and to move forward in our goals. And I'll speak a little bit more about that in my speech. I would like to now turn it over to our Toastmaster of the day, who joins us from Alaska. And of course, she's not celebrating Canada Day. Here where I am, it's a national holiday. Her holiday will be on July the 4th. And I think a lot of people know July the 4th more than they know Canada Day. So please welcome, all the way from Alaska, United States, Tristiane.
Good day to you, fellow Toastmasters, and a special warm welcome to our guest, Jay. It's wonderful to be here with you today. Our meeting theme today is land, space, and sea, which is exciting. So be thinking about our theme once table topics comes up. Moving forward, let's review the agenda. We should have every role filled at this point, but I just want to confirm. And if you could just give a verbal confirmation for your role, that would be appreciated. For grammarian and evaluator 2 is Kaushal.
Correct.
Excellent, thank you. Speaker number 1 is Teresa, and speaker number 2 is Somesh. Table topics master, John. General evaluator, Fatima. Evaluator 1 is Tristan. And we are good to go. Well done, everyone. Fantastic. Without further ado, let's move forward with our word of the day, which is presented. Our agenda is just scheduled a little differently now, so not to throw anyone off, but as we work through it together. For grammarian will introduce the word of the day. Kaushal, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. The word of the day is already chosen, unless you have chosen one, but there is one chosen if that works for you, and it's opportunity.
All right, sounds good. I'll keep track of it.
Excellent, okay. And Kaushal, do you mind just posting the definition of opportunity in the chat so everyone can have the definition? Thank you very much.
Sure.
Let's move forward with our very first speech. Miss Teresa, our president and distinguished Toastmaster, will be presenting her speech from the Pathway Team Collaboration. The project is writing a speech with purpose with a time frame of 5 to 7 minutes. June 30th, 2024 is the date. Distinguished Club is the destination for us. Can we do it? Will we? If it's important, you will find a way. If it's not, you will find an excuse, said Blair, who was an author. Please help me welcome Teresa with GPS Driven.
If it's important, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find that excuse. Author Ryan Blair. When I was a lot younger, my destination was to be the director of education for my school board. That's kind of the top job. But I only was a teacher. I moved from teacher to vice principal, but no further. And why was that? I know I had imposter syndrome, that I could not move forward. How about you? Did you have similar, or do you have similar opportunities? or experiences that you either didn't act on or that you are now regretting that you didn't move forward? Anyone like to pop in?
Yeah, I'm here, Mary Poppin. I think imposter syndrome, almost everybody I have met, they actually limits us. It's something that stops us from doing things. Until recently, I let it be, but now, no more.
Thank you. Anyone else? What I'm hearing from Fatima and from myself mainly is lack of confidence, lack of education. No, not for me. And I don't believe so for Fatima either. And I'm sure for the rest of the group as well. I had all the education. Did I have the knowledge to do it? Yes. Did I have the skill set? No. And so that's where the imposter syndrome came through. But the problem is that you only develop the skills when you get there because you don't really know what it's all about. And yet we all feel that we have to be perfect before we get there. So as we said, the imposter syndrome. Fast forward to today. Maybe you're still living through some of that imposter syndrome, but you have seen many places and you have experienced many opportunities. And looking now, what could you do? More specifically, what can you do for Personal Growth Leaders Toastmaster Club? This is meeting number 126. This club is wiser and has more experience. Are we still living under the new club image? Are we still expecting new club protocols? We have to move forward. We have to, and that was one of the things on our success plan. We have to live that advanced Toastmaster designation. And so I have said, what do you want for personal growth leaders? GPS tells us our destination is Distinguished Club. We will have many opportunities to arrive there. But if we take this GPS and add it with some gas, we'll get there. GPS, get purpose smart. And so your executive will be working on getting the purpose. And with gas, not the flatulence, but the real gas to move us forward, being accountable, getting accountability smart. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to move us forward. And so with that purpose, our purpose needs to be strong. Our purpose needs that each person in the club could say, could tell, could move forward with, what do we really want? And we have to be working on that every day. And we have to be accountable for our actions, showing up when we need to show up, doing what we want to do. Everyone has excuses. Are we going to leave the excuses at the outside of Zoom? We know what needs to happen. We know people need to participate. What else needs to happen for our club to achieve that distinguished accreditation? Want you to be thinking about what you personally can do to move us forward. Can personal growth leaders achieve Toastmaster International Distinguished this year? Can we do it? Will we do it? Or will there be excuses? Madam Toastmaster.
Beautiful. Thank you, Teresa, for sharing with us and encouraging us to reach distinguished club status. We can absolutely do it. Moving forward with speaker number 2 will be Distinguished Toastmaster Somesh. He will be working from Engaging Humor Pathway, and this will be the power of humor in an impromptu speech. He will be given 2 separate topics by myself for a time limit of 2 to 3 minutes for each topic. Somesh does not know his topic at this moment, but he will, and he will complete speech number 1, and then I will provide him speech number 2 topic, and he will complete speech number 2. Without further ado, Somesh's very first speech topic will be philosophy for 2 to 3 minutes. Please help me welcome Somesh.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Philosophy is something that we all are based on, whether we know it or we don't know it. It is the basis of our existence. Why do I say that? I say that because even if we look at this particular meeting that we are in now, I am in Ireland, John and Fatima are in Malaysia, Christian is in Alaska, Teresa is in Canada, Kaushal is in US, which place?
Chicago.
I forget now, Chicago. Ricky is in Malaysia. Coach Jay is joining from Democratic Republic of Congo. Just see here, we have so many different countries and continents represented here. People from all different places of the world. We all are connected here. And this is what philosophy is all about. Philosophy talks about that oneness of existence, which happens not only within the human being species, but also all the other species of life. So there is this interconnection that happens, whether we believe in it or whether we don't believe in it, the interconnection exists. How do we know this? For example, the current very important topic of global warming that is being discussed at various forums. What does it show? So we as human beings have got this amazing intelligence. And with this amazing intelligence, we have created amazing technologies, bridging gaps. There is no gaps, isn't it? Like with technology, we have seen here examples, people from so different countries coming together, talking with each other, experiencing each other's thoughts and ideas and working with each other. What is the flip side of this? The flip side of this is people could be in the same room with each other, but they wouldn't be talking to each other. They would be looking at their devices and trying to talk to someone who is far away from them. Right? So this is the philosophy of our existence, especially in this human being form of existence that we have got at the moment, where we have this amazing intelligence. And with this amazing intelligence, we are achieving amazing things. However, what we are losing is that sense of being present in the moment. If you're present in the moment, experiencing everything that is happening at this moment, then we'll be extremely happy. The biggest problem that we have is, even though we exist in this moment, but our mind is not in this moment. It is either drooling over the past, I could have done that, I could have done this, or thinking about the future, that this is my plan and I want to achieve that. So this is the philosophy of life. Over to you for the next question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Somesh, for that opportunity to learn a little bit more about your life's philosophy. Excellent advice you provide. For speech number 2 for 2 to 3 minutes, Somesh, please share with us 3 items or things everyone should do well. That could be characteristics, however you would like to run with it. 3 characteristics everyone should do well.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. I will connect it to what I have said before. So what I think 3 characteristics would be is, first of all, understanding our uniqueness, because we all are unique. And this, because we are unique, we should never compare ourselves with others. So this is an example that is given is, if we try to ask a fish to climb a tree, and make a contest between a monkey and a fish, would that be would that be a right thing to do? No, there's a fish and there's a monkey, and between monkey and fish, the contest is who will climb to the tree the fastest. So this is exactly what we do on a daily basis, unfortunately. So we all are unique individuals, and we all have our unique capabilities, unique characteristics. And somehow or other, the way the whole world is structured is we are always trying to compare ourselves with others. And even in terms of accumulations, for example, we could have these, for example, all these branded things, right? And we go with these branded things showing to people. But what is the inner value? This is a problem. I think in the current society, the whole concept is about people having lots of money and showing the brands, and they are considered great people. But what is real greatness? I think so. So this is what we have to understand. The real greatness is not wanting anything. A person could be a billionaire, right? The richest man in the world, but his wants are not satisfied. He wants to earn more billions, and he wants to keep becoming the richest man in the world. Like, we actually saw an example as well that unfortunately the richest man in the world is taking antidepressant tablets. So it's unfortunate, isn't it? Like, you have the whole wealth, everything is there, but you're still not happy. And what is everyone doing, in terms of actually working and earning, and everything that is being done is to be happy, right? So I think the 3 things that I would say is not comparing ourselves with anyone, being in the present moment, and connecting with everyone on a real deep personal basis. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Somesh. Wow. Powerful impromptu speeches. And it didn't even seem as if they were impromptu. Thank you for those words of wisdom. We had no idea we were receiving them, but thanks to you, we did. We'll now move forward with table topics. Please help me welcome John with table topics.
Okay, switching seats into my table topics mode. Okay, so I've got 10 questions, and I based them on the land, the space, and the sea. But there are some, funny ones in between that'll make you think. So who wants to start? Now, tabletop is impromptu. It's only two minutes. So the first minute we'll have the green, minute and a half is the yellow or the amber, and then we've got the red at 2 minutes. So it's a quick 2 minutes. It's not like Somesh's 3 minutes. Okay, it's 2 minutes. So who'd like to go first? And I'm looking around the room. I was going to ask Somesh, but he's done 2 already. All right, so Kausal, as I say, I got 1 to 10. It's going to be potlucks. It will come out. Some of them will be sea, some will be space, and some will be land. So 1 to 10, what would you like?
I'd take number 4.
Number 4. Right, so this is, I'll say, based roughly on space, okay? So, Causal, do you believe we are alone in the universe? Do you believe that you are alone in the universe?
Hi.
Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I think ever since we looked up at the stars, we've been asking if there are others out there like us. Thanks to advancements in science and mathematics, we're getting closer to that answer, yet it still seems so distant. So we unfortunately don't have scientific data, or at least enough scientific data to really form a convincing theory of whether there is life out there in the universe. But I think there are enough principles for us to confidently say, yes, there most likely is, because the universe is so vast that it would be shocking if there was not another planet like Earth that had conditions that could sustain life that did not have life. It would be shocking if we were alone in the universe. I really hope that in my life I have the opportunity to learn the answer, that there is, in fact, life out there in the universe. That would change everyone's perception of who we are in the universe. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you very much there, Causal. And some believe that aliens have visited us and that we're not at a level of sophistication and intelligence for them to actually start talking to us. And when we do get there, they will then make themselves known. But whether that is true or not, or was that a movie I saw? Okay, so thank you very much there, Causal. Okay. Right, who's next then? Christian, you might as well have one. Okay. Right, you've got 1 to 10, -4.
Number 7.
Number 7. This is more to do with land than anything. Can you give me 3 creative things to do with a brick? 3 creative things to do with a brick. Okay, over to you, Christian.
Challenge accepted, John. A brick is an incredible piece of equipment. We can do many, many items with a brick. Now, before we get into what we can do with it, let's go over the basic composition of a brick. Clearly, it's made out of a variety of materials that hold together. A brick is a clear representation of how our very personal foundation should be built upon. It stays together. It will hold its form and it will not be rocked regardless of the circumstances. Be it rain, snow, tornado, it will still stand. It may crack, but it will stand. And the cracks only add to the beauty of the brick. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, with a brick, we can do so much, both hypothetically and theoretically, but 3 items to do. And I'm hoping I have, brick here is plural, so I have more than just 1 brick. However, if I do just have 1 brick, I can use it as a paperweight, which serves an incredible purpose because I need to make sure to keep track of a variety of items that need to stay in one place. But if we're talking about potential, and when we refer to potential just as our club exists, it doesn't exist with just one person. We have many individuals that contribute to our foundational building blocks to become a distinguished Toastmaster club and do many, many wonderful things. 3 items with a brick. Number 1, build a house. Really set a solid foundation with the bricks. Number 2, share with others, because when we have a strong foundation and we're able to give it to other people, we're able to extend their foundation. And number 3, as a paperweight, because 1, it serves a great purpose as holding down papers, but also 2, as a friendly reminder to never forget your foundation. John, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you very much there, Tristan. Yes, a lot of things you can do with a brick. That's well worth it. Right, okay, Teresa, you're up. Teresa.
Hey, I'll take number 8.
Oh, number 8. All right, this is interesting. Right, so I've got something for you, Teresa. And this is the Earth flat? Is the Earth flat? Convince the audience that it is. Okay. Is the Earth flat? Convince the audience that it is. Okay, Teresa?
Mr. Table Topics, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guest. Is the Earth flat? Take this opportunity right now and look around you. What do you see? Do you see a round circle? No, you see flat. You might see some elevations, but if I'm looking in my yard where I'm sitting, I'm just seeing grass. It's flat. Everything that I can see with my eyes is either flat, or if I look towards the river, I will see the mountains, so it's higher, but no round circles. I did see a round circle this morning, and that was the huge red sun coming up over the river. But really, the world is definitely flat because of the fact that it has only what we can see. And you're not going to fall off. Have you ever heard of anybody falling off the end of the earth? Never. So why? Why would anyone think that this world that we live in is anything but flat? If I was to look, I would only see flat. Mr. Table Topics.
Thank you very much there, Teresa. And there are people in the world that think the world is flat. So, thank you for convincing us that it's flat. Okay. Right, who's next? Is it Trinitas, our guest? Trinitas, is it?
Yes, Trinitas.
Trinitas, would you like to have a table topics?
Yeah.
I can try. Let me see how it works out.
Right, okay then. We've got 1 to 10 minus 8, 4, and 7. Any of the others?
10.
10.
Yes.
Right, so Trinitas. This is quite, because we're doing on land, sea, and space. This is quite. What would you do if you were stranded on a desert island? What would you do if you were stranded on a desert island? Over to you, Trinitas.
Thank you so much, Table Topics Master. what would I do if I was stuck on an island? On a desert, sorry. Interesting, thank you. Never been on one, but okay, this is what I would do. Firstly, if I'm stuck on a desert, since it's going to be very hot, I'll try to look for water first, or an oasis, if you call it, so that whatever amount of time I'll be stuck on that desert, I'll make sure that first of all, get water. So water is important, and I'll try to find a shed, which would not be easy because this is a desert. There'll probably be no trees, but I'll probably try to find some way to hide from the sun so that I survive on that desert. And what else would I do? I would look for food if I'll find any. So I'll find myself try to explore the desert. Whatever I can find, whatever food is there, I'll try to make sure that I get something, whether it will be small plants or anything. I'll try to eat the plants, and basically I'll try to keep myself busy by telling myself nice stories so that I will not get lost, because if I'm alone there, probably I'll go nuts on that island, on the desert, because I'll think, you know, like you die or something. So I'll try to be positive minded so that I stay alive on that planet, on the desert. Thank you so much, our table topics master. Over to you.
Thank you very much there, Trinitaz. That's it. Survival, yeah, is the name of the game when you're on a desert island. So you can have a lot of fish to eat, so don't worry about it. You've got plenty of food. Okay, so Anvita, are you up for a table topics? I see you've just come in. Anvita, are you there? Yeah, Anvita? No? Okay, what time have we got? Yeah. That was another Anvita. We've got two Anvitas. No, okay. Right, the last one then. So it's a pick between me and Samesh. So I'm going to go for Samesh. So Samesh, you might as well have one. Try, and it's not 8, 10, 7, and 4. Any of the others?
2.
2. Right, this is a good one. Okay. A bit, let's say, mythical to a certain degree. Okay. And it's a point of view. Did dragons exist? Did dragons exist? Over to you, Samesh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Quite an interesting question. It reminds me of going for one reading session that my daughter had in the castle here. There is an Athlone castle, and they are using that castle for these kids' activities as well, which is quite an interesting idea, I think. Generally, it is open for public, and now I think they have started using it for all these different events, and this was a kids event, and quite an interesting. And the event was about Smokey the Dragon or something. I think they had written a book, the person, and quite an interesting one. I think it doesn't really matter whether the dragon existed or not, or exists or not. The more important thing about the dragon part is how it spurs the imagination within us, I think. And that's what I kind of really liked about that event that my daughter went for. It was a small kid's book that they were talking about, that Smoky Dragon, and the way they had that story weaved in that book, and they had this a dragon in their hand. You know, you can put that and you can make it move and things like that with keeping within the hand. They had that dragon there with their hand, and these small kids were coming in, and they were really intrigued by the whole thing. And I really was amazed how all these stories that we have, it may be true, it may not be true, it depends on the perspective of the person, and nothing is actually right or wrong as such. I think we should not be judging these things. What we should be doing is enjoying it and, being amazed by the fact that the opportunities that it provide for the imaginations that we can have within us in terms of being in a mythical world where you could have anything doing anything. So it actually reminds about the Toy Story as well. What a great imagination that person has had who created that Toy Story. That if a person is not looking at the toy is actually having their own life. What an amazing imagination. So I think at the end of the day, it is more about imagination rather than judging whether this should be right or wrong. Over to you, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you very much there, Sumesh. Yes, yes. I always believe in dragons, actually. I mean, what were the dinosaurs? Half of them were dragons, weren't they? So there's got to be some truth in the story of dragons. Komodo dragon is still there. It's got its own island. But yeah, as you say, these folk stories that go back years, and George and the Dragon, which is English, of course. Right, so that comes to the end of the table topics. And I'll now hand back to Tristan, our Toastmaster of the night. Back to you, Tristan.
Thank you so much, John. Well done with prepared table topics. What fun questions. Thank you for challenging us and really providing stimulating table topic questions. We will now move forward with the general evaluation portion of our meeting, and to ensure our guest Trinitas is aware of the general evaluation portion, Fatima will lead us through our evaluation team, and the evaluators will provide a 2 to 3 minute feedback session for each speaker, and she will call on others to provide their reports as well. She will also provide a brief overview of how our meeting has gone so far. Without further ado, please help me welcome Fatima.
Hello and good evening from Malaysia. It's 9:38 and I believe it's early for other people. And a special welcome to our guest. I'm very bad pronouncing your name, Trinitas. Forgive me if I say it incorrectly. We welcome you to our club. Now let me begin my role as a general evaluator, that is to invite all the evaluators to give their evaluations. So let me invite the first evaluator who will be evaluating the first speaker, Teresa. She will be evaluated by our Toastmasters. Well, Christian, over to you. Take it away.
Thank you, Fatima. Good day, fellow Toastmasters, and a special welcome to Trinitas as our guest. Miss Teresa, I would like to just tell you, I absolutely love your speech. Over time, I have definitely seen the golden thread through your speech. They're positive, uplifting, and especially motivating. You began your speech today with a very special introduction. I don't feel like I see it very often, and I absolutely love what you did. You began with vulnerability. It's a powerful way to bring your audience in, and right off the bat, within the first 30 seconds, you were vulnerable with us. You let us know you were a teacher, you were a vice principal, but you were not a principal that was a goal that you had set out to be, and it didn't happen, and that is okay. You shared with us imposter syndrome, and a little later in the speech, I think folks would be able to piece together what imposter syndrome is. Perhaps earlier on in the speech, just to be very clear what imposter system is, that could help set up the framework for your entire speech. Certainly, it didn't detract from your speech, but it's just something to keep in mind. I really appreciate, the overall message that I took away is to achieve any goal, and specifically for us, as Toastmasters with our club of becoming a distinguished Toastmaster club, we must push forward. And despite the doubt, the excuses, the judgment, anything that may enter our mind that may prevent us from achieving our goal must be set aside. And a part of setting those biases or concerns aside is to have group accountability, which you communicated extremely well. There were a few generalizations such as we all, everyone. I would just caution to use generalizations like that. For some audience members, it may really detract from your speech. They may in the moment be like, no, that really doesn't apply to me, and lose interest and disconnect. Of course, that may not be something you want. You want to engage every audience member. So perhaps consider saying you may have experienced, or maybe you too can relate to this. Just something to keep in mind. Overall, I truly well done, Teresa. Thank you for providing a very clear foundation for us to move forward as a club, for motivating us and holding us accountable, saying phrases and words that other people may choose not to say, like excuses. I know for myself, I have plenty of excuses. So when I hear someone else say it, it serves as an accountability measure to myself to help remind me of what is important and what we have set out to do, which you clearly did in your speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for Christian giving such a comprehensive evaluation for Teresa. I always love the evaluations done by our evaluators in this club. It's of high standard. So well done, Christian. Now again, another great evaluator. Let's invite the second evaluator who will be evaluating the second speaker, who is Ramesh. And it's a great opportunity for our guests to listen to Kaushal. Over to you, take it away.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Samesh had an unusual speech project today in that he did not exactly know what he was going to speak about. The Toastmaster provided him 2 speech topics on which he had to expound. Those topics were philosophy and 3 things everyone should try to do well. Now, Samesh, you've talked about philosophy in the past, so you showed that you were really well prepared for this topic. When I hear the word philosophy, I usually think of something academic, something you need a PhD to understand, but you really made philosophy relatable to everybody. From the very moment you started your speech, you said philosophy is something we are all based on. That really got me thinking, how is that true? And then you went on to say, we're all connected here. This is what philosophy is all about. And you even talked about various members of the audience, showing that we are from all over the world, but we have that common existence. And it's not just us, but nature around us. And you said philosophy is about the oneness of existence. So I thought, wow, philosophy is really an accessible science to everybody. You had a really beautiful way of describing it and maybe easing our fears about that topic. And I loved how you helped us understand philosophy by talking about its flip side, people living in isolation from one another. Now, towards the end, I felt that you were focused on one school of philosophy, Stoicism. You didn't describe it as that, but you talked about topics that I feel are from Stoicism. So I felt that if this part of the speech could have been clarified, you could have said, my favorite philosophy is Stoicism, for example, and this is what Stoicism is. So that is one suggestion for improvement there. Now, the second part of your speech, in which you talked about 3 things everyone should do well. It's really hard to think of three things for any topic right off the bat. The first thing you came up with was understanding your uniqueness. I think that's a great thing to start off on, but I felt that you went on a little too long. Maybe you should have stopped when you talked with the monkey and the fish comparison, then tried to generate two other topics. Now, towards the end, you showed that you did have two other topics, being in the present moment and connecting with everyone on a deep personal basis. But it wasn't really clear to me until the end that you really did have three topics there. So maybe if along the way you could have made more clear transitions from topic to topic, that would have made the speech stronger. But congratulations on pulling this off, Samish. I always loved hearing your speeches, and this was an especially good challenge that you met, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Council. Again, I would say I love both evaluators giving feedback, and the most important thing I look for in evaluator is when they give the recommendations. If you consider the evaluation done, greater portion of the evaluation have been on recommendations. Well done, both of them. Now, let me continue to the next evaluation or technical reports. Now, moving from the evaluations, we are moving to the technical reports. Let me invite the timer, who is also our president, plus also a speaker for tonight. Teresa, over to you. Let's give her the opportunity to speak again.
Thank you for the opportunity to allow me to speak again, Fatima. So my speech was 6 minutes and 22 seconds. Somesh's first speech on philosophy was 3 minutes and 21 seconds. And his second speech on three things was 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Both had well within the time limit. Our table topics by John. What a wonderful opportunity to talk about land, earth, and sea. Thank you, John. Kaushal, you were 1 minute, 27 seconds. Somesh, you were 2:24. Trinitas, I was so interested in your question. I started timing a little late. You may have been a little more than 1:30. I was 1:52. Tristiane, you were 2:21. For our evaluations that were 2 to 3 minutes, Tristiane, you came in at 3 minutes 28, and Kaushal 3 minutes 17. That is my report, Madam GE.
Thank you so much, Madam Timer. Now let me invite the next technical report as our grammarian, or what we call the language evaluator, and also the accountant, who is the filler counting person for tonight. Over to you.
Yes, Madam General Evaluator and everybody. I have to admit that our land, space, and sea theme brought out such thought-provoking speeches that I sometimes forgot I was supposed to be counting ahs and ums. But let me tell you what I managed to report. Tristan, throughout the meeting as Toastmaster, you did very well, and I only detected one repeat. Our first speaker, Teresa, you used the word of the day, opportunity. I counted 2 repeats, 2 ums. One time you said the word syndrome, but it sounded like syndrome to me. But you had some really great phrases in your speech. Towards the beginning, you said, if it's important, you'll find a way. If it's not, you'll find an excuse. I think that sentence, it really has symmetry there, in that it has 2 halves that have the same syllables and that has alliteration. So it really helps make that concept stand out when you structure a sentence that way. And then later on, you said everyone has excuses. An even more compact example of doing that. It's a really great sentence structure to help get those concepts cemented. For our second speaker, Somesh, I already mentioned in my evaluation the great phrases that you had used. One thing I did not mention before is you saying the real greatness is not wanting anything. Another excellent use of phrases. And I did not count any ahs or ums in your speech. For table topics, as topic master, John, I did not notice any ahs or ums from you. I was our first table topic. I did notice one repeat for myself. Christian, for your table topic, no ahs or ums. Teresa, you used the word the day, no ahs or ums. Trinitas, I detected 3 repeats, 1 Somesh, for your table topic, I detected 1 repeat. For the evaluation portion of the meeting, Fatima, you used the word of the day. Tristan, I detected 2 repeats, but I loved how you said you began with vulnerability. But that was a great way to begin your evaluation, to note someone's use of vulnerability to make a speech stronger. And as timer, Teresa, in your report, I heard the word of the day and you used 1 repeat. That's my report. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Kaushal, for the report. Again, Kaushal, we have great grammarians here in this room, and that's one role I try not to take and avoid it. I still have to learn to do a proper grammarian report rather than Kaushal. Now it's come to my evaluation of the meeting. I'll be brief so that we can get more feedback from the guests. When I joined a little bit earlier, 10 minutes before the start of the meeting, Somesh was already in, and then we were able to have a chat as usual, and then our guest, Trinitas, joined, and then the made the guest welcome. And Jay, yeah, he left unfortunately. So today's theme is really interesting. It's land, space, and sea. And our table topics master, who is also master of my heart, he was able to come up with interesting questions that each and everyone on the screen, you guys were amazing, and you are responded in kind in relation to the theme of the day. As for the speakers, again, we had 2 great speakers tonight, as you heard, and of course, the fantastic evaluations given to them. I would say, as a global adverse club, our speakers are at the highest level. So basically, I don't have a lot to say. My only request is, because as the general evaluator, I wanted to look at the agenda, and I printed early on. It would be really nice if each and every member here, as a member of the club, if we can commit ourselves and have the exco members by going into the free toss. If you don't know how to do it, of course, I know experts, they will welcome us to help you. So please commit yourself. Every Saturday we have the meeting. So please take up roles, fill in, so that we can have a proper agenda. And as for the general evaluator, I had to make lots of notes because it keeps changing. So as a club, let's work together. And as the theme of the day, land, space, and sea, we come from different continents, different countries with different backgrounds. We can combine and support each other. That's the very straightforward. So with that, I hand over the mic to Toastmaster today. Christian, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Fantastic job leading us through the most important part of our meeting. We get to evaluate the speakers and so much more comes from it. So thank you so much. And without further ado, I will pass it along to our president, Ms. Teresa. But before doing that, I did want to note Kaushal's grammarian report, and I very much appreciated the feedback for each individual section rather than in general for each person. You broke it down, Toastmaster versus evaluator versus table topics. I found that to be very valuable because then at least each speaker can really pinpoint where their filler words or otherwise are coming from. Thanks a lot, Kaushal. Madam President, back to you.
Thank you very much, Tristan, for running such a wonderful meeting today. And I just want to take this opportunity to ditto that on Kaushal's grammarian report. Honestly, that does take us to a different level, and I really appreciate that. I'm learning. It's so wonderful to start a new year. So happy New Year, Toastmasters, for personal growth leaders, and looking forward to a great year coming. I'll pass it back to our VPE and Toastmaster of the Day for her closing comments and guests' comments. Thank you, and welcome to guests.
Thank you, Teresa. I would like to take a moment. It looks like, Pranesh, sorry, I meant to let you know, welcome to our meeting when I saw you come in, and I completely forgot, so please excuse that. But I'd like to open the floor to Trinitas, and we'd love to hear from you. Any feedback you have, how you enjoyed our meeting, any experience you'd like to provide.
Thank you. So I am guest here and I am not a guest also because this is my third session and I'm attending, and the formal induction with the Toastmaster is in progress. It's planned for tomorrow. I'm in touch with the Somesh and I will try to complete it by the next Saturday, before next Saturday. And about the meeting, so I really enjoyed the meeting and I was hearing the good comments and the good review, especially the Kaushal. And it's really, I mean, so he's adding a lot of value and I really like that one. Apart from that, everyone also contributed very well. The Toastmaster, you also added very good information and feedback. And yeah, so, and Fatima also. So I heard these people only, and Teresha. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot, Pranesh. And of course, we look forward to you joining us again, and we appreciate you being here today. Excellent. Trinitas, let's get to you. Same questions for you. We would love to hear your feedback, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Tristan, for the opportunity just to give feedback. Of course, unfortunately, I joined late at the time that you were having the table topics session, and I missed the speeches. I would have loved to have heard the speeches because the feedback that was given from the evaluators was really wonderful, superb. It was very up to point, on point. So I enjoyed the whole meeting. It was you were all welcoming, and I've enjoyed being part of the meeting. I'm just visiting. I'm also a Toastmaster elsewhere. So I've always wanted to to visit you guys, but I think I hadn't had time yet. And it's my first time visiting, and really happy to have joined you. And my time where I am, it's 3 p.m. It's getting to 4 p.m. So I don't know where everyone else's time is at wherever you are. It seems like this is a cosmopolitan event where it's like everyone, global, everyone else is here. And I'm happy to be part of the meeting. Thank you so much. Over to you, Tristan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Trinitas, for sharing with us. And you're absolutely right. It is a cosmopolitan here. We have folks from everywhere, which is really fun. So I certainly hope you can join us again. And that way you can experience table topics and see the whole flow of the meeting. But we're very happy to have had you today. Wonderful. And I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Please excuse me. I just need one more minute of your time, so I won't go too much over. We need a Toastmaster